Yo, it's your boy Nez, the Lyft Uber YouTuber, and I'm coming at you with another vlog. And this segment I'm gonna call Rider Stories. Now, with this segment, it's just gonna be stories, or little situations from trips that I've had, I should say. And then I'm just gonna ask for your take on it, and you can share one or two of your experiences in the comments, or let me know if what happened to me is similar that happened to you, or anything like that. So let's just get right into it. So I picked up this gentleman. I believe this one was a Lyft fare. Yeah, it was Lyft. So I pick up this gentleman from a hospital down in, I'm not going to say exactly where it is, but it's down in the central to South Jersey area, and they were going home. Okay. So as I'm driving, and the guy, I'm looking at the guy. He looks like, maybe he could be like a businessman or something like that. He had like one of those leather, like brown leather cases that you would hold a laptop and some important papers and stuff like that in it, and he had like some type of like a nice jacket, so he looked like he could be a type of businessman, even though the regular clothes he just had on a sweatshirt and like regular pants. But that's neither here nor there. So on the during the ride, he's asking me, how I like it, blah blah blah, and what I do, and I explained to him how I drive for both, and so on and so forth. And I immediately went to my spiel asking him if he's ever tried Uber, and he's like, no, he pretty much sticks with Lyft. So I did my whole spiel and offered him if he my link, so that way he can get free, so you can get $20 of free rider credit, which I'll put the links for that. The links for that are in the description. If you've never used one or the other, just check down there and you follow my link, and then you get some free money towards some free rider credit, so you can take it Lyft or Uber for free. But it only applies if you haven't used one or the other. So, all right. So I went through that whole thing, and then he went on his phone and he signed up and did it. So that was cool. So then he proceeds to ask me, he's like, hey, would you mind making a stop? So I'm like, okay, where we stopping? He's like, I'll let you know when we get closer. So, I mean, that should have set off all kinds of alarms, but before I, started interrogating him and asking him, in-depth questions, I asked him, is this way along your, first of all, I asked him, where's he going? He's like, I'm having to take you back to my home. And I was like, okay. And your home is where? And he told me the town that his home is in. So I was like, okay. So I felt cool. And I was like, well, you want me to stop? Is it along that way? And he's like, yeah, it's right on the corner outside of the street where my development is. And I was like, okay. So I was like, all right, cool, let's do this. I was like, we can do it. So he's like, I would tell you, but it's hard for me to tell you. I'm just gonna show you as we go down Route 1. I'm just gonna show you where it's at. And as we approach closer, he proceeds to say, point to this big sign up there. He's like, see that big sign up there that says Liquors? And I was like, yes. And he's like, that's where I want you to go. And I was like, oh. I was like, okay. So I proceed to pull in there, and literally this big liquor store is literally right on the corner of Route 1 and and the street to where his development is, like he said. So here, let me pull over a little bit because we're starting to shake up a little bit. I don't want to shake too much. It's very bumpy. So I go in there, and I'm sitting in there waiting on this guy. And so he goes into the store, and when he goes in, he comes out with a pack of cigarettes in his hand. He proceeds to take a cigarette out and start to light it up and smoke it, and he comes to come get in my car. And then as he gets in the car, he knows that I have a sign on the back of my seat, which I'll show you, that I made up, that says no, it has no smoking or vaping on it. All right, so he saw that. So then he was like, oh, I'm sorry. But he had already opened the door, and the smoke and under came in my car. So I had to like breathe like crazy after I dropped him off. He's standing out in front of me. Now he's standing out in front of the liquor store, but also in front of me because normally I back into my spots, but for this particular time, because of where it is, I pulled right into my spot, because then all I would have to do is just back out a little bit and then drive out the side to get onto his street. So now he's standing there, standing in front of my truck, which is also in front of the entrance to the liquor store, smoking. And he's looking at me like now this is getting awkward, all right? He's smoking and looking at me, right? So then he's smoking through his cigarettes. And then he lights up another one. So then he has 2 cigarettes. And he's just standing there pacing, and every now and then he'll look up at me and then look away and does that whole thing for a couple minutes. Okay, then he finishes the second cigarette. Then he proceeds to go back into the liquor store. He goes into the liquor store and he comes out with a fairly nice sized bag of whatever. I'm assuming it's black. The bags are black, so I'm assuming it's alcohol. Because usually when you go to the liquor store, they give you your alcohol in black bags. So he comes to get in the car and he sets it down. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, did you want something? I can go and get you some alcohol. And I'm like, sir, I'm kind of driving, but thanks, but no thanks, I'm good. He's like, no, I'm gonna get you something. He's like, what are you drinking? And I'm like, I don't need any alcohol, that's perfectly fine, I'm good. So he's like, all right, well, if you don't tell me something you want, I'm gonna go and get you something, and I'm gonna be offended if you don't take it. So I'm like, oh boy, all right, sir, if you're gonna get me something, if you feel like you need to get me something, which I'm telling you don't, but if you feel like you need to get me something, I'll take a Gatorade, all right? And she's like, are you sure? I'll get you anything you want. It could be whatever. And I was like, no, Gatorade is fine. That's fine. I'm driving. I don't want to have alcohol. He's like, oh, you don't have to drink it now. You can drink it later. And I'm like, I'm good. I don't really drink like that. I drink socially, which is probably like once a month. So he was like, all right, but if you want something, I'll get it for you. I was like, Gatorade's fine. So he goes, gets me the Gatorade, comes back out. He bought a Gatorade, and then he also proceeded to give me a small thing of Hennessy. He just assumed that I like Hennessy, hey, black people like Hennessy apparently. So he proceeds to give me the Gatorade and the bottle of Hennessy. I'm like, oh, sir, I don't want that. He's like, are you sure? He's like, you like Hennessy, right? And I was like, really? I don't. I'm not a fan of Hennessy. I don't like it. And he was like, oh, then why don't you just tell me what you do like? And I was like, I did. I told you I just wanted a Gatorade. I was like, I don't want the alcohol. I'm really cool. So now it's getting to the point where it's starting to get annoying, and he's starting to get persistent. And I'm sitting here looking down at the map, seeing exactly how far it is to his house, So then he goes back in to return the Hennessy, and he comes back out and he gets in the car. But while he went in, I remembered that I had this app on my phone that was like it's an app where, like, if you're in an awkward situation, you could make it so it rings you, and then you could just say whatever to get you out of whatever awkward situation. So as I see him come back out, I set the app to ring my phone a minute, after he gets in the phone and after he gets in the car. So he's standing there, and he said, oh, don't pull off yet. I just want to make sure you don't want anything. I was like, no, the Gatorade's fine. And then after going in that whole spiel, my phone rings, and then I pick it up and answer it. I'm like, hey, what's up? Is everything okay? Oh, no, I'm just in the middle of a fair. I'm about to drop him off in a minute or two. Oh, so you need me to come home? Okay, well, I could just log off after I finish with him. That's fine. All right. I'll see you in a little bit. And I was like, so then that gave me the option to say to the gentleman, I was like, all right, sir, I got to get going. I got to drop you off because I have to head home. I have a little bit of a situation at home. And he was like, okay. He was like, all right, but if I get you again, you're definitely going to get something. And I'm like, that's fine. I was like, so the likelihood of me getting him again, the only reason why I was even down in that area is because one ride after another kind of progressed me down to that area. So that's how I ended up that area where I normally don't drive in that area. So I had set destination to take me back towards where I normally drive at, and he happened to be along that route, so that's how I got him. So the chances of me getting him again, I was like, I just yesed him to death at that point. So I take him, drop him off. It was literally like 2 minutes later at his place, which was a really nice development, really nice. And then he's like, all right, bro, thanks. Thanks. This is a good ride. I'll leave a good rating for you. And so I'm just sitting there like, man, I dodged that bullet. So basically what I want to ask is, that was a little unorthodox situation. That was my first situation. Like I said, I had only been doing this for a week. Right now I'm on my second week doing this, but that happened a week ago, and I decided I'll share that story with you guys and see what you guys have to say. If you've had any similar stories like that, or or any suggestions on if you thought I handled that correctly or what you would have done, please leave those down comments and let me know your take on this situation. Now, some of you might leave in the comments that I should or ask me if I give him a low rating or whatever. And I thought about it after everything happened, and I didn't give him a low rating. I actually gave him a 5-star rating, and I commented that he was a very nice and polite gentleman and a very interesting conversation. But that's not good, not bad. Well, I mean, I should say it's not bad. It's not the best that I could have given him, but it was good for what it was. And the reason why I didn't give him a bad rating is because, if you remember at the beginning of the story, I did say that I picked him up from a hospital. Who knows what he could have just went through in the hospital where I picked him up, okay? Now, I looked at his face and I tried to judge. It's really hard to judge with him. But the fact that he needed to go to the liquor store on the way home, and the fact that he literally stood out in front of my car and smoked not one but 2 cigarettes, okay? He had to have 2 cigarettes. And mind you, we were 2 minutes from his house, okay? I could have easily dropped him off. He could do all that stuff at home. He felt the need to smoke 2 cigarettes, and then he came out with a bag of alcohol. So anything could have happened. He could have just got some bad news at the hospital. I doubt it was for him, maybe a family member. So, you can't take a situation like that and just immediately try to bash the person because of the way things happen. You got to try to look at the entire scenario. And me personally, I'm not one for giving people bad ratings anyway, because like I just said before, you never know what a person goes through in their life. You never know what kind of day they've had. You never know what kind of people they had to deal with. You just don't know. And people don't mean to take their day out on you. Sometimes it just happens. I'm guilty of it myself. I had a situation where I had to call, my phone carrier for a situation, and because I've had situations with them, in the past, I felt myself getting angry on the phone, and I don't mean to be yelling at these people, because it's not who I'm talking to right now is not their fault for what the previous person did. So you get what I'm saying? So I try to be cognizant of how I'm talking to people. You get what I'm saying? So I can relate when someone acts abnormally. It's like that, and I would never judge a person. I don't judge anybody anyway, and I'm certainly not gonna give them a low rating just because of an incident. I mean, even if someone was to puke all over my car or whatever like that, most likely it probably would have been a kid, college student or something like that. Maybe it might not be. It could be an adult. Like that guy that I had, it could have been him. I still wouldn't give the low rating because, hey, circumstances. It can happen to anybody. It does happen to people all the time. And it's up to you to decide whether to, make somebody look bad because of a circumstance, or to just look at it like, what if that happened to you? Would you want someone to, fault you for a mistake that, an accident? So that's how I try to look at it. So so if you wouldn't mind, leave your thoughts in the comments. What you think, how you would have handled it. What kind of rating you would give him, or what you would do if you were reported, or whatever the case may be. Give me your thoughts down in the comments. I really appreciate it. And if you would be so inclined, please like and subscribe. Click on that bell icon. Come along for the ride. I'm Nez, the Lyft Uber YouTuber, and I'm out this piece.
If you're looking to become an Uber or Lyft driver, you'd really be helping me out by scanning either or both of these barcodes, or clicking either or both of the links in the description, and in turn, you'll be receiving a driver incentive bonus. Thanks. If you've never used Uber or Lyft and you'd like to give it a shot, please scan either or both of these barcodes or click on the links in the description and receive some free rider credit on me. If you thought this video was helpful and you'd like to help me provide more content, please consider donating by scanning one of these codes or either clicking on the link in the description. Thank you in advance, and thank you for watching.